as we're starting off our new launch to the 90-day sprint, I want to tell you from my heart to yours, it is an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to be able to share with you what the foundation is of what we're doing and how we're making successful decisions and choices in our life. And that's what we're going to discuss today. So it's going to be a fun ride here. Please pause for station identification while we allow some other folks to get into the room.
I'm just loving Tish's walk weather out there.
Me too. I love the action going.
It's like, sorry, a car just passed. It's gorgeous, like 73 degrees, the sun's shining. It's beautiful.
It's 37 in Michigan, so it's
just I don't miss Michigan weather.
I know, she was in Pawpaw.
I was in Pawpaw.
She lived in Pawpaw.
Pawpaw?
I graduated from Pawpaw High School, actually.
My favorite organic coffee is there. Fair from Van Buren Coffee, yeah.
Hey, it's a small world. See, I knew I was drawn to this group.
That's right.
All right, so
Gail, on the flip side, it's 98 and unhealthy air here. So there you go.
Oh, wow.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Mine's 55, rainy and cold, it feels like, in New Hampshire, like overcast.
And how do you feel about that, Susan?
How do I feel? I can't change it, so whatever, I got to deal with it, right?
There you go. All right. So you really should be good to great at this point, because when Gail asked you how you were, you said, I'm good. You should be great.
I'm great.
All right, so let's get started here. I am going to record this because I'm going to do something just a little bit different. I actually make this available for other folks to watch, because right now where we're at in the, I'll call it a Promise Keeper community, is my intention is to make this group 50 Promise Keepers strong for this community, for this environment. And we are going to grow in strength. We're going to grow in numbers. Jackie, great to see you.
Good to see you, Steve.
Danthika, pleasure for you being here. Rosemary, I just want to make sure I say hello to everybody that's going to grant me the hour of time today, and I'm going to do my best to honor your time so that you can get on with your busy evening. David Shipla's in the house. I mean, come on, does it get any better than this? Kate's jumping in. So I'm going to offer this as a replay for folks that want to watch it. It'll be a private offer. But really, my intention is to grow this into a movement, because for those that have been part of what I've been doing or what we've been doing, it's not just me, it's all of us collectively. I can't tell you how much of a game changer just making small, significant changes in our day-to-day process makes a difference in our overall lifestyle and our commitment to ourselves.
Do you have the Android phone chargers?
I'm just going to mute that for a second. So, again, let me say this. It's an honor and a privilege. Kate, thanks for being here. Sharon, great Friday evening. It's an honor and a privilege to be here and share this information with you. And I want to make this as, it's going to be very informational. So if you have a pen and paper handy, by all means. But let me say this. We're not here to gather more information. More information is not what we need. If we needed more information, then we'd all have six-pack abs, and we'd all have, financial freedom. We'd all be in the place we want to be if all it was having more information. What my intention is to have you take action. Perhaps it's you waiting for permission to take action on your own life, and this is going to give you the platform. This is going to give you the environment to do so. So I'm passionate about you living in your best, greatest body and mind to your potential. Not my potential. Let me say that again. This is your potential. I just want to be able to serve as a catalyst for you to be where you're at. Identify what are some of the obstacles, what are some of the challenges that's standing in between you and what you truly want out of this one valuable life. Are we okay with that? Thumbs up. Awesome. And my brand, for those like, if you're just getting a chance to know me, my brand it's called Fitastic. And I've been the brand and the owner and the creator, the designer for the last 10 years. And I sort of live by the motto that the Fitastic brand doesn't just change your body, because I've been known for the last 25 years to create awesome fitness programs, the right nutrition plan, set up routines and schedules and all those things. That's all great. So Fitastic's not designed just to change your body. It's there to change your mind, your attitude, and your mood, because that's what the underlying inspiration is going to take us to where we want to go. But I am excited to share with you, a lot of the things that we're going to be able to coach you through with observing the way that you think, challenging your limiting, non-serving beliefs, your habits, your routines, your actions that are regarding your health and your overall quality of life, because that's what it really does come down to. So other than this course, this experience for 90 days, really it's a culmination of all of my life's work over 25 plus years. What I'd like to know, for those that are launching with us and taking this step, and I understand that this could be a very uncomfortable step for many of us, because we're going to become a little more vulnerable. We're getting out of a comfort zone or a circle. I call it no man's land. Like, we're getting out of no man's land. We've all heard of what no man's land is, but I've actually defined it. It's not being happy, or it's being unhappy, but not unhappy enough to do anything about it, is what no man's land. Like, I'm not happy, but I'm not unhappy to do anything about what my current situation or circumstance is. So what I'd like to know is, maybe we'll start with whomever, we have Jackie here, Roxy, Kate, Tisha, Mary. What are your expectations by being here in this environment with us for the next 90 days? Who wants to be a willing victim to share? What are your expectations by being here?
I'm a willing victim.
Mary, the floor is yours.
What's that? Oh, my floor is yours. Okay.
The floor is yours.
I expect to get out of my own way, embrace the process, expect greatness out of myself, put myself first, which has always felt selfish to me. So those are my main ones. I expect to get those things in order so that I can move forward.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yep.
Who else? Roxy. I know that mute button's tough to find sometimes.
There we go. I found it. I've never done Zoom on my laptop, so I apologize.
No worries.
Honestly, I jumped in. I just listened to the call Gail has been looking like she's been getting younger and turning back the hands of time. So that's very undeniable. So I emailed her and said, Gail, what the hell is going on with you? You look fantastic. And so she told me about this group, and I thought, oh God, another freaking scam, good for her. I'm glad it worked. But then she sent me that video, and I listened to it, and in 10 minutes, I just said, I just want to be around people who think like that. I really do. I want to, in 2015, I just really went through this peeling back the layers process, which left me pretty much alone with me and my husband. I've got one good friend now, and that needed to happen. But I set out to the universe, and I'm like, well, where's all these people that think like they want to grow and they want to be better and and I just found that in the first 10 minutes. I said, I didn't even need to listen to the rest of it. Just sign me up. So I want to vibrate at a higher level with people.
Awesome. Well, I feel that everybody, you guys see a lot of smiles on her. If you look at all the monitors, you're in the right place. And it's not enough to be at the right place at the right time. You have to be the right person at the right place at the right time. And even just being here isn't enough. You have to put in the effort, you have to put in the work, and you have to show up. It doesn't mean that you have to engage with every single thing that's going to be happening in this group, because I assure you, you will not find another group that's going to be as active, inspiring as this group is going to be. But that's okay. Because everything else that's out there right now, there's a lot of distraction happening. It's easy to fall into the distraction where we don't put enough focus and intention on what we need to do in our own life. So I'm glad Roxy, I really appreciate that. That's a huge compliment, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Let's go one more. One more, someone that's taken the leap and said, hey, this is what I need to have happen in the next 90 days of my life. Here's what I'm expecting out of this environment.
I'll share, Steve.
Thanks, Jackie.
For me, it's about changing a mindset. It's about creating new habits and patterns for myself and being unapologetic about taking care of me while I take care of everyone else. So that's the big thing for me, total change in mindset.
Fantastic. Do you notice that no one has said yet, and this is based on one-on-one conversations as well, no one said like, I'm looking to lose 20 pounds. I'm looking to fit into that outfit that's sitting in my closet that I've been really trying to work for. This is about changing the belief and the thoughts that we think about ourselves. What would it do for you to uncover the beliefs that are limiting your success? Write that down. What would it do for you to uncover the beliefs that are limiting your success? Because that's what you're going to uncover here.
One more time.
What would it do for you to uncover the beliefs that limit your success? And underline the word beliefs. Because whether you believe you can or can't, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
And then write this down too. This is an important one. If you're one for writing things down and taking notes, because I am, you experience what you're deeply convinced of in this life. You experience what you're deeply convinced of in this life. This isn't magic. I don't have a magic potion. I don't have a magic seance that we're going to chant. I don't have a silver bullet that we're going to shoot and go squash whatever's standing in our way. I'm telling you what works, and what's happening between the 6 inches here is what prevents us from being where we desire to go. And you want to talk about what we're going to uncover over the next 12 weeks? We're going to dig deep. We're going to uncover things that you didn't even realize that are preventing you from where you are now. And listen, most people don't get to where they're going because they have no clue where they want to go. That's okay.
It's me.
That's okay. Because many folks on here that showed up on this call, and some that couldn't make it, they will vouch and say, the path laid out for me as I went along. As long as you have faith in the process of what it's going to take for you to not take the necessary action, but for you to change who you are, that's where it happens.
Hold on. Can I ask a question?
Tisha, you can ask whatever you like.
Okay, so I'm a little confused. So maybe I need you to elaborate a little bit. So you said that most people don't get where they're going. They don't get where they're going because they don't know where they're going. But then at the same life will unfold. So for those of us who are really struggling with where am I trying to go, how do we handle the in between? Like, how do we handle, I don't have a clear picture of where it is I'm trying to go, but I know I don't want to be here. But the clarity around that vision of where I'm trying to go is not solid.
That's such a great question and a great point of view. So let's hold that thought, Tisha, because I want to revisit that maybe in about 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Because the way that the perspective that we take is going to unlock where you're going to arrive.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, like, when folks, like, I'm associated with health, fitness, nutrition, wellness, lifestyle modification. So 80% of people, by their own admission, live lives of quiet desperation. They know they should be doing far better than they are. They just don't know how. It's not the act of doing, it's the act of becoming that's going to unlock the new level that you're desiring right now. So fortunately, we have a solution. And let's break this down into simplicity terms, because I really want this call to be about simplicity, fundamentals, baseline stuff, so that when we have conversations for the next couple weeks, the next couple months, it could be the next year, you decide how long you want to stay in this environment. Let's talk about, most people are in a state where they want to become more physically fit, they want to be healthier, they want to lose weight or body fat. Who here is interested in losing body fat ultimately, or losing weight? Okay, and it's okay. Like, it's an aesthetic thing. It's just one of those things, like, you know, one of those, if somebody asks you what your goal was, instinctively you say, oh, I'm looking to lose X amount of weight. But that's not really what the goal is or the focus. Like, that's not the intent. So let's talk about the weight loss game versus the transformation game. And for those that really truly understand the difference between the weight loss game and the transformation game, create a sustainable change in their life, and the probability of putting on weight that they've already lost dramatically reduces. Who wants to get themselves healthy, fit, and in a state of abundance, and not have a high chance of slipping back to where they started? Right? So yeah, get enthusiastic. Like, I need you to be enthusiastic about this, because this is where we are going. And trust me, my energy levels are high. Why? Because I am passionate about you living in your best self. I really am. So, Steve, what's the difference between the weight loss game and the transformation game? Well, I'm glad you asked. The weight loss game is this, is that we have a goal. And the goal typically relates to what the scale is going to try to read and justify what your success is. You want to lose 30 pounds, hypothetically. But you'll do everything in your power to lose that 30 pounds. Chances are that 30 pounds that you desire to lose is because of a milestone that's happening in your future. A wedding, a birthday, a reunion, something's happening where you're like, I will lose the 30 pounds, whether it kills me or not. You'll go through every extreme diet. You'll be in the gym for 3 hours per day, 9 days per week, and you'll do everything to get the 30 pounds off. How does that usually work out?
It's a cycle.
What do you mean by that?
It's the future you're living into.
It's not creating sustainable habits.
Yeah, the cycle.
Does anybody know anybody that's lost the 30 pounds because they were playing the weight loss game, and then you saw them 3 months later and they had the 30 pounds back on?
Yeah.
Well, usually they
Myself.
have 30 pounds back on plus more.
Right. And then some.
I did that for years. I did that for years.
Right.
Right.
I usually call it the and then some, type of process.
So true.
So the transformation game is, yes, of course there's a goal. Like, we're driven by goals. I'll get into more detail on that as well. But there's a purpose and a reason behind the goal. So see, we won't do everything in our power to reach the goal. We'll do everything to satisfy the purpose to what is behind that goal. Now that is where you start creating sustainability, because the reasons are stronger than what actually the goals are. See, goals are important, but if you don't have the juice behind the goal, you don't have a reason, you don't have the driver. Pay attention to this one. If you don't have the juice or the driver behind your goal that you're inspired to attack on a regular basis, the goal is impotent. It's dead. We don't wake up in the morning. I know this enough because I've worked with hundreds of people when it comes to the transformation game, thousands. I've been doing this for 25 years. We don't wake up in the morning because we're going for the goal. We're waking up in the morning because of the reasons and the juice behind the goal. Reasons get us up in the morning, not the goals. That's why I have some exercises that for those that are joining us for the first time, you're going to go through. It's going to be challenging. There might be some difficulty trying to identify what the reasons are that you want to be where you're at. So with that, the weight loss game, everybody plays the weight loss game. Our intention here is to focus on the transformation game. Let me put some more clarity to it. I want to talk about the tree of life. The tree of life. I want you to all imagine a tree, a big tree. Right now, the leaves are changing all types of colors. And let's suppose that, let's suppose that this tree, it's your tree of life. Like, this is your tree that you own. On this tree, there are fruits on the tree. So can you picture the tree? It's big, it's got fruits everywhere. And in life, these fruits represent your results. What do most people do? Most people look at these fruits and they can't stand them. They're like, God, these fruits suck. These results I have in my life, there's not enough of them. They're too small. They taste like garbage. Like, oh, they're so bitter. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you look at these results and you're like, man, why am I not producing these fruits, these results in my life? So what do people do? Most people, they put more attention and emphasis on the fruits. They're trying to change the fruits on the tree. But in reality, what is producing these particular fruits, these results in your life or on your tree of life?
The roots.
Yeah, it's the seeds and the roots that are producing your fruits. So stay with me here. Keep imagining that tree. What's happening below ground is producing what's above ground. Let me get a little deeper with you. The invisible, what you can't see, is producing the visible, what you can see. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
So for somebody to say, hey, I want to change the fruits on my tree, what has to happen? What does this mean?
You have to nourish the roots.
Yeah. First, you have to nourish it, you have to water it, you have to cultivate the roots before you can produce the fruits. You have to put attention to the invisible in your life, the beliefs, the thoughts, the worth that you have of yourself before the visible becomes apparent. Now, some people will tell me like, well, you know what, Steve, seeing is believing. I don't buy that. I'm just focusing on the fruits. I can see the results. Oh yeah, is that right? Here's what I question those people with. Why even bother paying your electric bill? You can't see the electricity, but you know it's evident that it's there. Like, trust me, at 2 years young, when I was 2, if you want to know if electricity is real, the invisible that's happening in our life, it produces power. It's real. It produces energy. It generates lights. When I was 2, I stuck a key into an electric socket. I knew electricity was real. So understand that putting attention to the invisible, the roots, that's where we drive here. That might be either an aha or a game changer for people, because most people will not hear it the way that we're going to discuss it in this environment. Because it does take patience. It does take consistency. It takes accountability. And by the way, accountability, this is an accountability group. It's an accountability community. But please don't discard accountability as a negative connotation. I know accountability it could have a negative vibe to it. You know, I usually use the analogy of like a football player, and, you know, especially with sports, if a player has poor conduct or off the field antics, the league wants to hold that player accountable, right? Like, we're going to hold them accountable. We're going to make sure that we, you know, fine them $1 million and we're going to suspend them for 5 games or a season. Accountability is not consequences. Please understand that. Write this down. This is important. Accountability is ownership. We are going to inspire you to take ownership back of your own life.
Are you muted?
Is everybody okay with that? As a matter of fact, I've coined us as the term, each one of us are accountability buddies for each other. Accountability buddies are basically, you know what, hey, we're your buddy, but I'm not going to give you any BS. Everybody responds well to high fives and thumbs up. You're doing great. But when you mess up, or you're not being, when you don't have personal accountability, when I say by mess up, I say, hey, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, I'm going to challenge you. And if you're okay with that, then you're in the right place. So, any questions on the tree of life, or does that make sense?
Makes sense.
You'll hear me referencing quite a bit. We talk about the tree of life, and it's just an easy analogy for me to explain, like, hey, don't worry, like the fruits are the byproduct of you cultivating the roots. Have you not played the game of focusing on the fruits for too long, and it's frustrating and it's challenging, and why me, and no, let's dig deeper. Let's keep working on growing those roots, because the stronger, the bigger, the more solid your roots are, any storm can come by and try to knock your tree down, you're unbreakable. Who wants to be unbreakable?
I do.
Because your roots are so strong, they're so thick, they're so deep. The belief of yourself, the worthiness of yourself, your dignity is strong. You're no longer people-pleasing. You're not concerned about other people's validation or approval of what you're doing or what you're not doing. You're being yourself authentically and unapologetic. I think that's what maybe Mary said. I could be wrong. Was that Roxy? I heard it somewhere. All right, any takeaways? What are some ahas at this point? We're sitting at about 5:30. I want to make sure that I respect our time. We have a lot of information to go over, but it's important for me to understand that I want to know what you're taking away from this so that we can continue developing on these topics as we're going along.
I think I can say for me that I have spent quite a bit of time examining kind of how I got to this point. And at a certain point, I thought, you're stuck. Like, you don't have the skill set to move you beyond where you were to where you're trying to go. And that's where you need to add some help. And I think that's where this group comes in, like non-judgmental, non-competitive, loving accountability. And that is what I'm hoping to get out of this space.
Gail, is that what Tisha's going to receive here?
Every day.
Steve.
I resonate with that too. And even I remind myself, we talk a lot about in here, your past doesn't define your future, right? So did I get that right, Steve? So I hang on to that because
Easy.
I tend to look back at like all the false starts, all the times that I didn't do well, or I felt stuck, or I like to talk about like, I don't anymore, but I resonate with, oh, I'm struggling and I'm just in the struggle mode. And even when I have, 12 or 14 or 18 or 20 weeks of success behind me, my mind still goes there, and I have to pull myself forward and say, no matter what yesterday was, whether it was, I felt it was something good, or I could have done better, or it was a successful day or a not successful day, this is a new moment. This is another day. I can make this moment what I want it to be. So, but I get what you're saying, Tisha.
Well said. And you're right on, Amy. And let me just put it the way that I would say, you do not need a healthy past to have a healthy future. Or I'll even say you don't need a successful past to have a successful future. But since we're ultimately talking about our health, our longevity, vibrancy, transformation, like, you don't have to be successful at transformation in the past to be successful in the future for your transformation. And I'm not going to ask for a response on this just to honor the time, but for those that like are just joining us, maybe today's your first day, perhaps you've been with us for the last 30 days. Ask yourself a question, write this one down and define this. How do you define transformation? What does transformation mean to you? Because it really does mean something different to everybody. And you can refer to it as the next 90 days, because I have an exercise that I'm going to share with those that are launching today. It's called a Back from the Future exercise. And it's a visionary exercise where you're going to picture what your best, healthiest version of you looks like 90 days from today. Based on you keeping the small commitments that we're going to discuss here in the second half of our conversation, what do you feel like? What do you look like? How do you behave? How do you act? Who are the people you're hanging around with in 90 days that are going to create that new environment, that are going to create the new version of you? And then once you picture that with clarity, with great specificity, take yourself, snapshot it, you're writing it down, you're going to document it, pull yourself back to the present, and it's time to get to work. Time to take action. It's not the skills. We're not here to sharpen up our skills. It could be the mindset, because the mindset game supports the skill set game. Here's what I know. You all have the skill inside of you. I know you do. And how do I know that? Because we can't talk about transformation. Like everybody's looking for that magic. It's always been out there. There's a true hidden path to transforming everybody's life. It's always been there. And we can't talk about transformation until we talk about personal integrity first. That's where it comes. Like, what do you mean? The reason why we're here, the reason why we're all here is because we don't have integrity. Whoa, what do you, dude, Steve, that's crazy. I'm the most integrity-laden person that I know. I do everything for everybody. I help my neighbors, I help my kids, I help my spouse. If I say I'm gonna go do something for my family, I'm gonna do it. Of course you do. Renee.
Yes.
Renee, if I call you up and say, listen, I'm really challenged to go pick up my kids today from school, and they have to be picked up by 4:30. Can you help me out? Can you pick up my kids today?
Of course, and I'll be there at 4:25, so that way I'm not late.
Thank you, Renee. And I know you would do that because you would do that for me, because you'll do that for anybody.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Because as a mom, sometimes we're running a few minutes late, and everybody needs a little help sometimes.
And I appreciate you for that. Susan, just because you're off mute, Susan.
Okay.
If I wanted to meet you and say, you know what, Susan looks like she's a pretty awesome human. Do you want to meet for some lunch tomorrow at 12 o'clock? Would you be open to that?
Yes.
Okay, we'll meet at noon. What time would you be there?
A little before noon.
Okay. Because you have integrity, you say you're going to do what you say you're going to do when you're going to do it.
Right.
However, how many of us say that, you know what, the diet starts on Monday? Raise your hand. The diet starts on Monday.
Yes.
How many have said that I'm going to wake up when my alarm goes off and I'm going to go do 15 minutes of cardio?
Me.
But you know what? You actually, instead of doing the cardio, you actually probably hit the snooze bar. It's easier to stay in bed, right? Especially when the colder weather is coming by. How about this one? How many said that 2020 was my year? 2020, I'm going to be the healthiest version of myself. I'm going to get fit. I'm going to do the right things. I'm going to go exercise. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to go drink my water. 2020 is my year. This is it right here. I'm excited. And by the way, this was pre-pandemic. Like, you didn't know the pandemic was coming. How about 2019? Raise your hand if 2019 was your year. How many said that 2018, it's going to happen for you? See, you have integrity for everybody else in your world. But when it comes to you making the commitment to yourself, we often struggle. We don't have personal integrity. And I need you to understand that's okay. It's you have to identify it and then say, all right, what am I going to do to change that? Does everybody relate? Does that make sense? I know that's been a game changer. See, we don't need the new fitness program. We don't need that magic nutrition plan that people are raving about. What we need to do, and somebody said it, is we need to get out of our own stinking way and start upholding our own personal integrity. Let me define personal integrity, and I encourage you to write this down because this is the fundamental foundation of what we're doing here. If you ever come to me or any of us as an honorable accountability buddy and say, Steve, my fruits just aren't showing up, I'm going to challenge you and say you don't have personal integrity. Personal integrity is this: doing what you say you're going to do, when you say you're going to do it. The kicker is when nobody else is watching. Doing what you say you're going to do, when you say you're going to do it, when nobody else is watching. That's personal integrity. Deborah, when we had a conversation, I remember it very clearly, like it was happening like this morning. Like I was driving back from Michigan, we had a conversation. And I think it finally resonated with you when we were talking about becoming a promise keeper. Right? We are keeping the promises that we make to ourselves. Because
Yes.
what were you prior to the 90-day sprint, prior to becoming part of the Promise Keeper family? What were you essentially? How did I word that?
A promise breaker. It was awful. I hated that word.
So we're in the position now because we've been breaking way too many promises to ourselves consistently over time. What is it going to do for you when you can now alter your thoughts and your course correction and become a promise keeper consistently? And by the way, this isn't a grand, massive, I have to go train 2 hours per day, and I have to go make sure I track all my food, and it's a whole 180-degree lifestyle modification. No. Whatever we decide to do today is what we're going to encourage ourselves and lock into doing essentially for the rest of our life. It's not fair for anybody to have an expectation of saying, well, we need to make a complete lifestyle change and it starts today. That's not realistic. That's not reasonable. We have some time here. I'm going to share this. I usually like to wait till our second call to share this information, but I'm going to share with you how the promise keeper mentality, where keeping the promises to ourselves came from. I'm going to share with you a story. But before I do that, what are some takeaways from the last 10, 15 minutes of our conversation? Let's open this up. Tell me what you've learned, what you've discovered, and how this is going to help serve you moving forward.
Can I say something? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think one of the biggest ahas that I have like come to grips with recently is that, you know, as an overcomer, always overcoming, I thought that you'd overcome one obstacle and then you've arrived. And so even with like diets and weight loss, that you have to focus for a little while and then all of a sudden you've arrived and you don't have to focus or concentrate on those things anymore. And what I realized in having this conversation is it is not a clean it up and then you've arrived. It really is a life process, right? It's so good health is not losing 30 pounds till you get, to your birthday. It is, like you just said, there's a set of skills that you have to practice sometimes boringly every day in order to live a life. Like, so there's no point where you can put in some effort for a period of time and then you don't have to do it anymore. And I think that's probably been one of the biggest kind of ahas for me, that it's a lifestyle.
Hey, you said an interesting word in there, Tisha. I'm going to address it, but you said boringly. And there is some mundaneness to the process because you're going to, like, in order to create a habit, it takes between 21 days and 215 days to create a sustainable habit. 21 to 215 days to create a sustainable habit. Now, I assure you, the avenue and path that you're going to commit to will not take 215 days. It could take sooner than 21. Everybody's different, and we make those modifications as necessary. But these are so seamless. These are things that you're likely already doing. You're just not doing them consistently. What I've discovered in really facilitating and coaching and guiding this 90-day sprint over the last, I mean, we started, was it April? Like we've had a couple series of sprints, April of 2020. And I've discovered that many of us lean into our strengths. And what I mean by that is that we're creating the wins through strength. Like we're doing the things already, we're just not doing it to the capacity that we know we should be doing it to.
And with consistency.
And it is consistency and it's accountability. So if somebody were to say, well, I know I need to be exercising on a regular basis and I'm going to do it for, let's say, an hour a day. Like an hour a day is 24th of April. Yeah. I'm going to work out an hour a day, 7 days per week. I'm going to get my health back. I'm going to obtain my confidence, my self-esteem, all the great things we're discussing here. I'm getting my life back, Steve. I'm committing to an hour per day, 7 days per week. Fantastic. I admire your ambition to do that. I really do. However, how frequently are you exercising now? Well, I probably work out once or twice per week if I'm lucky. All right, so now we have to change the mindset, change the thought process, and say, what can you commit to every day? If we know that you're only working out or exercising or being physically active, getting your heart rate elevated, meeting a caloric expenditure once or twice per week, and let's say it's like 45 minutes per day, like that's pretty common. It's like I'm not even getting the hour for once or twice per week. I don't create your power promise. You create your power promise. You create control of what your schedule is and what your lifestyle is going to be. From there, we back you up with the reinforcement, with the support, and with the encouragement to go kick life's tail every day. Can you exercise for 10 minutes per day? Can you get your heart rate elevated to X amount, or can you burn X amount of calories for 10 minutes per day? Well, yeah, Steve, but that's not going to do anything. It will. Because what you do every day matters more than what you do every so often. How do you create a habit when you're not doing it consistently? By you doing 10 minutes per day, hypothetically, by the way, if you were to do 10 minutes per day and you create that win for the day, you feel amazing in that 10 minutes because you only committed to 10 minutes. Is there a probability that you might do 15 or 20 minutes that day? Yeah. Is there a probability that you have momentum and you're like, hey, if I did it today, I'm going to do it tomorrow? Yeah. Is there a probability that if you do it for the entire week for 10 minutes per day and you're like, shit, man, I'm already on a winning streak, baby. I'm going to go for another week. Yeah? Woo! Yeah! Imagine how unstoppable you are on a winning streak of any capacity, a minimal expectation, and you continue growing your beliefs, your thoughts, your identity, your worthiness of what you really truly desire and deserve in your life. Does that not make all the difference in the world? Do we ever expect the fruits on our tree to blossom and bloom within a day? No.
Nope.
There is some patience involved. But I'll tell you what, when you are focused and honed in on the roots and you're not focusing on the fruits, man, those fruits come out of nowhere, don't they?
Out of left field.
Nowhere. Tish, I really appreciate you sharing that because that does make a difference. I don't know where everybody's at right now in their lifestyle. I don't know. But here's what I do know. By you being here, you've already separated yourself from most other people trying to continue doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. You know the definition of insanity.
Oh my gosh, you guys, there's some deers running through my backyard.
Oh, deer!
Oh, there's two of them.
Take a picture, Tisha.
Sorry.
Take a picture.
I'm gonna see if can you see
No.
them?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see them. They're kind of in the corner.
Rosa's
Yep,
got
I
the
see
good
'em.
eye.
All right, so what I'm going to do is this. I sort of went off on a tangent, but I thought it was really relevant to do that. Is I'm going to share my Debbie story next week. We'll talk about that. I know it's a really impactful story as far as how the Power Promise came about and the commitments. But I want to be able to discuss and make sure that we have 100% clarity on what the expectations are for being here in this environment. And I'd like to talk about the scoreboard, okay, and the accountability piece, the tracker that we do every day. And it's such a great question. Like, what are the expectations being here? Like, first off, you have to be open-minded. Like, you have to learn how to let go of what's happening in your life right now. Some of the emotions you're feeling, some of the frustration, some of the, angst, some of the negative thoughts that we're having. We just got to let it go so that we can let other positive things come into our life. And you'll start seeing that as you go. You probably already noticed it. Just let go. Like, hey, it's never a loss when there's a lesson obtained. Like, we're here for the lessons, right? We're like, go back over the last 6 months being in quarantine and the pandemic and take a look at the losses you had. What didn't go your way? What didn't go as expected? Where did life go sideways? Take a look at it. Extract the lessons out of it, because when you pull the lessons out, it's a win. You're on a winning streak right now. You don't even realize it. But what do we do from an action standpoint with the scoreboard? So the scoreboard is this. I'm going to share this. I'm going to share my screen and update. Let me know when
You see it
did you see it?
for a moment. Now it's gone.
All right, can you see it?
Yep.
I see it.
All right. So this is the scoreboard. This is the infamous sprint scoreboard. And this is every month that we do this. So stay with me here. This is from September. At the bottom of the screen here, you'll see that there's tabs. This is last month, October. There's not much on it right now, so I'm just going to bypass that. We're going to go right to September. Right here, this red line is basically going to be where we are month to date. So with the month being already over, it's 100% of September 2020 being satisfied. Here's where ownership comes in. And this scoreboard is a reflection of who we've become in the process of taking back control of our life and earning the fruits that are on our tree. So anything above the line, you see these percents here, 148, well, let me update that. I'm not gonna worry about that now, but 148, 150, 143. So these are all folks. I mean, here on this call, we have Prerna, Rosemary, Amy, Kristen's on the call, Sharon, Gail, Renee, David Shipler, and Mary. Mary was at 100%. Mary started a week with a week left in the month. And Mary, you hit every single one of your commitments for the last 7 days, for the last week of the month. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Awesome job.
So what we do here is, right here is the goal. It's the power promise. Can you see me right here highlighting this? Can you see that?
We can see it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So everyone, you take an honest look here, and every one of us has a different commitment to ourselves as far as what our own personal daily expectations are. And that commitment is where you're going to lock in every day. So let's just go over Mary, since I had already addressed her success for the last week of last month. And Mary had said, coming into our Promise Keeper group, our family, that her commitment was 36 ounces of water daily. She's going to drink 36 ounces of water every day. Now, let's preface it by saying this. Mary was drinking less than, what? Mary, were you drinking less than 36, or were you like on and off with 36? 36 was kind of the average.
Nope, I was drinking probably a cup.
Okay, so 8 ounces of water.
Was drastically lower than what I should be drinking. So you told me, don't go crazy and pace myself and don't go for like 64, do something doable. And I'm sure that just being conscious about it, I've drank at least 32 or 36 every day, if not more.
Awesome. And then your other commitment was 30 minutes of daily exercise. Now, 30 minutes of exercise, because your conditions where you're at in California is your environment, your outdoor weather is not very conducive for a duration of walking, correct?
Right. So we have the hazardous air from the fires here right now. So we're not really supposed to be doing much outdoor stuff.
Okay. What has it done for you over just the last, we'll call it 8 days now, we're in the second day of October. What has it done for you to be as consistent as you have been with 36 ounces of water and 30 minutes of daily exercise outdoors?
Just being conscious of it, I think, and it makes me feel like I've done something, even though it's not where I want to be yet. I mean, I know Gail's moving a heck of a lot more, so eventually I'd like to get up to the point, you know, I feel like my goals are small right now, but I also believe that they're attainable and they're not something I can fail at over and over, and then I'd be down on myself and blah, blah, blah. I'd rather start small, know I can do it, and have that confidence moving forward that I can increase it by whatever or do, you know, add to it.
Excellent. And so you'll notice, again, as I mentioned before, everybody's power promise is different. Everybody has a different goal or outcome from everybody else. Now, every one of us are on this scoreboard. This is not for competition. This is for inspiration. This is to pull us into the direction of saying, almost like, hey, if Gail can do it, I can do it. If Amy can do it, I can do it. And it really does pull us into a momentum. So this is where we keep track of all this. And I look at this every day, by the way. So the expectation is that you give yourself the points. So in this case, Mary, for every time she drinks 36 ounces of water, which is her own personal commitment to herself, she has earned 1 point per day. 30 minutes of daily exercise, 1 point per day. So it tracks over here, and then she'll go and carry over the day and tabulate the points throughout the month. See how that works? Everybody below the line. Something has happened throughout the day, throughout several days, throughout possibly their life, where they weren't able to meet the expectation of what they've committed to. And again, that's okay as well. However, what is the lesson we're able to extract out of that so we can get back into the consistency and the momentum? This is where accountability buddies come in. Amy does a great job. Gail, Rosemary is often just popping in there and saying, hey, has everybody earned the credit for what they've put in for the day? Now's the time to ask questions about the scoreboard if you have them.
What about the bonus?
I was just gonna.
Sorry.
Are you asking because you're super excited about the bonus?
I don't get the bonus very often, but when I do get the bonus, I'm super excited. Does that count?
It sure does.
Woo!
Yeah! All right, so that goes without saying. The reason why you have Prerna and Rosemary, Amy, Kristen, Sharon, Gail's always up there. They're in 120, 140, 150% is because there's a bonus opportunity. These power promises really should be so small and simple to do, it's almost impossible not to do them. So we've given the opportunity with one of your commitments, one of your power promises are bonus eligible. And that means that, I'm gonna give you an example of Mary, because we've already been sort of deep diving into Mary's commitments and power promises. And so 30 minutes of daily exercise. I wouldn't expect Mary to double her water intake and drink, 72 ounces of water. But what I would expect if she wants to, if she has the availability and has indoor accessibility, is she can do an hour, 60 minutes of daily exercise. When she has the time, when she has the ambition, the drive, the inspiration to do 60 minutes of exercise in any given day, she'll be able to earn one additional point, which we call a bonus point. You can only earn one bonus point per day. It's not one per promise. It's one PowerPoint. And most every one of these here, you can identify where you can earn that power promise. So Prerna, I'll just go through a couple. 50 grams of protein per day is her personal goal. I would never expect her to eat 100 grams of protein if her grams were 50 as a goal. But I would say if Prerna can do 60 minutes of personal development, start working on her mind growth, her mind health, reading a great book. Maybe she's chosen a podcast. Maybe it's an audio book. And she's really locked into that for the day. She can, and that's where she gets her bonus point. Because she's at 148% in September. I assure you, she's doubled the time she's invested in herself. Always spend more time working on you than you do anything else. Even your job, your family, always work on yourself harder than anything else, because when you are a sharper, better, stronger, healthier version of you, everybody wins around you. Rosemary, 10 minutes of daily core work. 16-8 intermittent fasting. That means she has a 16-hour fasted window, 8-hour eating window. The only opportunity Rosemary has to get her extra bonus is in her core activity, in her training. She'll do 20 minutes instead of 10. She doubles her minimal expectation of 10 minutes. And look at, she's heated 150%. She's hit a bonus every single day. Because she didn't just meet the minimal expectation. She said, I'm going to under promise and over deliver to my own expectations of my own life. Amy Izzo, another great example. 64 ounces of water daily, 15 minutes of daily exercise minimum. 143%. That means that more often than not, way more often than not, Amy has at least done 30 minutes of exercise every day.
Shoot, the girl's been walking 10 miles a day for the month of September.
All right.
Awesome.
Fantastic. And let me say this to finish off, because I am impressed by 148, 150%, 137%. But what impresses me more is the person they're becoming. The scoreboard is the guide. It's a tracker. It's a tangible tool to get in there, take ownership. It's your responsibility to be in there every single day and just update a stinking number. If you have to set an alarm, do it. What's not acceptable is, oh, I forgot. You know what? If you have kids and they have homework, go tell your kids, don't worry about your homework. Just tell your teacher you forgot. Take ownership. Be part of the experience. Show up. And let me say this about your goal, like your ultimate goal. And even this counts for the scoreboard too. The power promises, the goals, they're not there for you to hit them. They're there to change you. Let that sink in for a second. Let me say it again. The goals are not there for you to hit them. The goals are there to change you. If you want more of what you desire in the next level of your life, you have to become somebody different. You have to become a higher level of yourself. You have to reach a higher level of potential. Am I the only one that gets excited about this? It's like, man, like I'm limitless on what I can achieve. I just need to dig in here and start taking personal accountability and start living in my own personal integrity again. And it doesn't stop at the scoreboard, by the way. It doesn't stop with your power promise. Because even if you make, I call these are spoken promises. These are very open. They're very, like, you're vulnerable. Like, everybody sees what your commitment is. But you're the one that needs to take it seriously. Even a silent promise. Let's say, you know what, the diet starts Monday, right? And you're like, I am committed. I am serious this time. I am going to start my diet on Monday. I don't know why people start on Monday. I think it's just a delay tactic, but that's okay. I mean, whatever. And so this is the time though, right? So Monday goes well, you eat right, you do all your food prep, you get it all set up, the fridge is stocked, food is fresh, you're eating well. Feel great about yourself. Your confidence is up, your self-esteem is up, you're doing it. Tuesday comes around, yeah, man, I did great on Monday. I'm going to do it again on Tuesday. You start eating some of the leftovers, you're feeling great, you got momentum. Wednesday comes by, you're like, another day I got to eat these foods, huh? All right, I'll do it. All right.
Salad again.
I'll do it. I know that on the other side of this, there's going to be some greatness, and I'm going to achieve some goals and some results. I'm going to feel great about myself. All right. Thursday, you're dreading waking up because you got the same food. So what do? You succumb to ordering a pizza. And you're like, you know what? You're at work. You order, maybe it's fast food or a pizza. You bring it to the break room. And by the way, you tell everybody this time. Like, you're so committed. You tell everybody. On Monday, hey guys, I'm locked in. I'm going to start my diet. I'm going to meal prep. I'm locked in. I'm unshakable. Come Thursday, you're caught in the break room of your job hosting a pizza, and your coworkers walk in. They're like, dude, Steve, I thought you said the diet starts on Monday. And you're like, I can't do this anymore. From now on, I'm not going to tell anybody that the diet starts on Monday. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to tell anybody. Here's the thing. Our personal integrity does not know the difference between a spoken promise and a silent promise. You break a promise to yourself, spoken or silent, you still have the same ramification. Your confidence goes down, your self-esteem, your dignity. And your dignity is really the worth, the belief of yourself. Be cautious. Commit to less and do more. Commit to less. If you have a to-do list that's 20 things long, you're doomed. Just do a small amount of things. You have 2 power promises. Okay, Kate's already locked in. Jackie's going to set up her power promises. We've already talked about that. Susan, if you feel this is a great fit, you need to lock into 2 power promises that you can do every single day without fail. Roxy, get your power promises in. What are you going to lock into? Tisha's got her power promises in. Actually, do I have yours in, Tisha? Right?
Yep.
Yep. Yours are in for October. And whomever else says, hey, enough is enough. I'm ready to take back control. Don't worry about all the skills that you have to obtain. Worry about what you need to do. What are you not doing right now in your life that you know you need to be doing consistently every day? That's what you lock into. You're not here for more information. You're here to start taking action on your own word that you've been telling yourself that you're going to be doing for the last probably year. So that's what the expectation is. Show up, do the minimal things that's going to take for you to win in your day, your power promises. There's going to be some vulnerability involved. That's okay. Vulnerability frees us. It unlocks us. You can't start climbing up the mountain. We'll talk about the proverbial mountain with our backpack heavy. You can't start climbing up this mountain and then deny that you're fearful of climbing up the mountain because you're going to continue sliding back down. Has this been helpful today?
Yes.
All right, takeaways and ahas. This is really going to conclude our first session. We have calls on Monday night, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then Fridays. Fridays, I'm going to commit to the new level sprinters and really growing through here. So even if you've been with us since April, you're here with us in Fridays because these are great reminders, great refreshers. This is where you want to be. It's sort of like reading a book for the second or third time. You read it again, and you're like, gosh, where was this chapter the first time I read it? Because I don't remember this information, although it's the same information. It's just you weren't ready to hear it. You weren't ready to absorb it the first time you read it or went through it. It's incremental.
You can't hear too much.
You can't. You absolutely
It
can't.
helps to internalize it.
Yep.
So from those that are starting the journey as of now, today, first day, tell me your takeaways, tell me your ahas, and what are you going to implement immediately that's going to make a significant difference in your progress?
We're all so silent. I think it's the personal integrity part, which is pretty cool.
Awesome.
Susan, do you have a link to join the sprint? Because I don't think I sent it to her. So Steve, we should get her the link so she can join.
Awesome. Thank you.
So the commitment
And that's
is,
where you'll lock in.
yeah, the commitment for here is I need your attention and I need a relationship with you for 90 days is what I need. It's a 90-day sprint.
Right.
So essentially think about this. Today's the beginning of October. What's your life going to look like? How different it's going to be for a new year when you already have crazy momentum and habits built and results being produced and behaviors changed? By the time everybody else is trying to get their feet to the ground, you're already just, you're a new version of yourself come the new year, 2021. Are you kidding me? I've been arming myself for this for the last 6 months with the quarantine. I treated this year like it's preseason for the regular season with whenever we get out of this thing.
All right.
Roxy, what did you take away from today?
I absolutely love what you said. What would it do for you if you release the beliefs that limit your success? That one was amazing. I kind of got a little bit different issues. I don't know if I could maybe talk to you privately about some things, but
yep.
I'm kind of stuck on something that should be a part of my promise, but I have a little gap there that I need help filling that in.
Let's have a conversation this weekend. I'll talk to you on the side.
Yeah, okay, Sunday's good. Saturday I'm not available. Thank you. But yeah, it's just awesome. I like that you're absolutely right. I'll do anything for anyone at any time. And then I come home at the end of the day, I'm wore out, dehydrated, hungry. I could eat everything in the refrigerator because I haven't had breakfast or lunch because everything came first. And yet I'll take the dog for a walk. And then my husband needs help with something. And then I have to help myself. It's like I'm just going crazy. And then I cry.
So the last question I have, and it's more of a rhetorical question, but what would it do for you if you were to make more of the right decisions with less effort? That's what it's about. Making more of the right decisions for your life that's going to help take you to where you desire to go, and it requires less effort. It's not more effort I'm looking for. It's just you honing in on those two things and using less energy out of your day.
Looking forward to learning the healthy mindset that it takes to do that.
You're in for a treat, Roxy.
Believe me, I'm ready.
Steve, can I share something real quick?
Yeah. We'll
the the good thing about keeping the promises every day to yourself, that you're doing it, is that you're going to teach it to the people around you, the people that is living with you. I started doing this in May, and September 22nd was my birthday, and we celebrated on Saturday because my husband's schedule and all of that. He moved the time, and my mom moved their time, because they know that 6 o'clock I stop eating. No matter what, I stop eating. And they move it and say, okay, 5 o'clock, we're cutting the cake or celebrating, whatever, and that's it. So sometimes they move now the schedule around what I am doing. No, and I just want to share that.
Love it. It is important to have the support around you, but it's okay if you don't either. And we'll go over that as well.
Well, at first it was not like that. At first I had to work around them, but it changed.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will end the call here. I will have this. By the way, these are recorded and they're uploaded in our group. So you can watch this replay at any time. If you miss a call, you can watch any replay and I'll give you a direct access. And for those that are starting their sprint today, I will also make sure that you're in the scoreboard, ready to go immediately, and that you've done the goal setting exercise and you've also done the back from the future exercise. Those are important as well. All right.
Hey, Steve, can I say one thing?
Sharon, yeah.
Yes. So I just wanted to reinforce that this is a very supportive community. Everyone supports each other. There's not judgment. Everyone understands. I've brought a lot of personal things to this group to help me move higher. And so to me, the people that may have the most success from this are the people who are authentic and vulnerable and bring their struggles, look for help, look for suggestions. Those are the people that are on fire and keep going. And so I just wanted to share that. It's definitely want to reinforce, it's not judgmental. We're all here to help each other. Yeah. And I'm still growing, and I still have days where I go down, a lot more days where I'm up. So we're all here for each other.
David, say that again. I know what you're going to say.
I said, and you're on fire, Sharon.
Thanks, David.
You're awesome.
And then feel free, if something really resonates with you in our calls or something that somebody says, post it in the group. You know, Roxy, if you really are inspired by that question about what belief is stopping you from your success, you know, post that in the group and let people know. A lot of times getting that out, it's a liberating experience. It really does just free it up. And then other people are going to be able to chime in and give their experience as well. So.
And the video that you posted about the intermittent fasting, I'll just say, when Steve says, watch this and see and what you see or what you don't see, and we're changed people, and that was from May till now. We are changed people, and just sometimes you don't see it because it's incrementally happening, and then you go back and you go, wow, what a difference. So it's time on task and over time and keeping the commitments to yourself. The fruits will show up. I guarantee you.
And you make some awesome connections here as we're growing together. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time and attention. And we went over today, but I feel like it was worth it. Catch the replay if you missed anything or want to refresh. So if you're ready to go take on an awesome weekend and start really locking into what your commitments are, say let's go and let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Bye, everybody. Great weekend.
All right. I appreciate you all. Have an incredible weekend. Make it a weekend worth repeating.
Thank you.
Bye.